It's a cold, drizzly day just north of downtown Dallas. Game On Sports coming to you live from Highlander Stadium, home of the Scots, where today the HP Gold Squad looks to defend their Division II state championship from inside the THSLL. They'll do it from home against last year's Central Division champion, the Georgetown Eagles. Hello, everybody. Colin Gilmans alongside Zach Wolchuk, like I said, for Game On Sports. And it's 36 degrees. There's been rain on and off all day, but nonetheless, it's a perfect day because lacrosse action is back in North Texas.
Kyle, it's good to be back here with you, partner. I haven't seen you since that Round Rock State Championship game. Now, I've seen you a couple of times. We kind of do a show called Friday Night Sports.
Every once in a while,
also
right?
Presented to you by Game On Sports. But it's great to be here back at Highlander for some Highland Park Scots lacrosse action. And like you said, look, this is a Division II team, a D2 squad that's looking to repeat as state champions. They moved up a lot of their key players that helped them win that championship a year ago. They'll be playing for the Division I squad, obviously. But you got a lot of young, hungry players here that are looking to continue that Highland Park tradition. And they've got a very game opponent here today against this Georgetown Eagle squad.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Both teams last year combining to almost total 25 wins, 15-2 for Highland Park, en route to their state championship whenever they defeated the Prosper Eagles 10-7 to win their fourth Division II state championship. And then on the other side, Georgetown with quite a good season themselves, undefeated in district, much like Highland Park, but 19-3 was their overall total as they went to the THSLL playoffs as well. But both these teams kicking off their 2019 season on a cold day here from Dallas, and Georgetown will go from right to left wearing the blue jerseys. Highland Park in the home whites. They'll go from left to right on your screen. Starting in net is Jack Bradford for Georgetown, and then on the other side, Spencer Hopkins, the captain for the Scotties, as the Fogo gets us underway. That one picked up by Christian Reeves. We've talked about the Reeves family quite a bit. His big brother Cam, a mainstay on the Highland Park Blue roster, and then also on the football squad as well. But now you've got the younger Christian Reeves, a chance to work the face-offs for Highland Park. And how about this? Wide open goal, and the first goal of the season is going to belong to Hegelma right in the middle of the slot. And he was able to kind of just break free from that Georgetown defense and put it home. Yeah, well, that one was pretty easy just to throw in, and it was an empty net right in front for Helgamo, though. But it definitely is fun to see Christian Reeves playing that Fogo position. We know how important that is here in the sport of lacrosse, but Highland Park's had a tradition of having dominance inside the X at that Fogo spot. Cameron Reeves is one of the best in the state, and Christian looking to continue that legacy. Christian wearing that same number 9 as well, very reminiscent of his big brother Cam, and it's good to see that because, like you said, Cam kind of dominated in the X. This time, Christian unable to win it for the Scotties, and this one back behind. They're going to keep it with the Georgetown Eagles. It's Nicholas English, 16 in blue. He's Fogo for Georgetown, and that was a nice, clean win. Obviously, the pace of the play dominated. You've got to get control inside that X. Now, Georgetown, for the first time this afternoon, able to set up that offense. Yeah, already trailing. They haven't had possession really at all because of that initial face-off, and this one's going to be knocked away. Jake Gent puts it on the turf and picks it up himself with a ground ball. Now Highland Park looking for some clearance, going near side. It's knocked away from behind and then swept into the attacking zone for Highland Park. That one swept that way by Gallus. Nobody's still picking this one up. It's last touch by Georgetown. It'll stay with the Scotties. Here's Gallus looking to change field, and that one knocked away right in the middle of the slot, and it's going to be picked up. Nice play defensively. Like you said, there's Nathan English again right in the middle of the action. He's able to knock it away and force a turnover. Yeah, there's going to be a penalty coming up here on Highland Park. A little bit of a cross check over there right around the 25-yard line from behind. So you'll get the advantage coming your way for Georgetown. You mentioned the name of Gallus, younger brother of Grant Gallus, obviously an integral part for getting that state championship for Highland Park in 2016 in football, one of the best defenders on that squad. It's fun to see the young up-and-coming, the young whippersnappers here for Highland Park, keeping the family tradition alive. Lots of potential, as always, throughout this Highland Park lacrosse program, but you're looking at a Georgetown program that continues to grow as well. They're in Division II as their main varsity team at the moment, but of course we talked about how successful they were last year with 19 wins, looking to improve upon that and potentially get to the state championships this season. Get a little bit deeper after a couple big games last year. They lost to teams like Westlake, Klein, another big team that they lost to in the playoffs. That's actually who knocked brought their season to an end. Here's a long windup, and that shot's going to go just wide from straight away. There's Nicholas English on the shot.
Really an excellent job defensively there by Highland Park. They kept their sticks up. There wasn't really a whole lot of room to go. Forced a long-range shot that went wide of the net. Now they've got possession coming back the other way, and they killed off the penalty, so the man-up advantage unable to capitalize there for Georgetown. But you can already see early on, the season opener for both these teams, the passing not as crisp as they'd like it to be. A couple of turnovers here by Highland Park early.
That's what you're going to see in matchups like this early in the season. Got to get into that chemistry mode. Gallus has been really the one tabbed with bringing it past midfield for Highland Park, and both times now he's tried to switch directions. That pass has gone either wide or been knocked away. That time he was looking for Jake Gent, and Gent was unable to grab it. Now Georgetown looking the other direction, working on the numbers. Now goal line extended. Right in front of the crease. That one's saved.
It's a beautiful look there for Georgetown. Cutting right in front of the crease, and a nice save. Spencer Hopkins, he's got some shoes to fill. Major Power was outstanding during the state championship run, and in that championship game against Prosper for Highland Park, Hopkins, his first big stop of the year.
If Menke wouldn't have put up the numbers that he did in that state championship game, you could have very easily given an MVP to Major Power because of how good he was in that first half. Really set the tone. Another turnover for Highland Park. That's kind of been the tone after their initial goal. They still lead it 1-0. 9:10 left here in the first quarter. Now here's Georgetown looking on the attack again, going goal line extended and then breaking away. That's Cole Petter on the far side, being berated by that HP defense. Long stick of Aiden Cox there.
The Eagles have some speed.
Absolutely.
And right now, I think that they're starting to realize that they can run by some of the long sticks here defensively of Highland Park. And you're starting to see them be a lot more aggressive, a lot more movement.
Long windup. That one skips in, and it's blocked initially. Kevin Hayes got in the way of it, but he's hobbled as he'll take a knee just above that far hash. Looks like he's good to go. He'll walk it off, but he did make the defensive stand. Looked like he blocked it with that right shin of his. And
that doesn't feel good, especially on a cold day like this.
That one's going to sting a little bit more.
Absolutely. He'll have a remember me mark probably in the morning.
Both these teams looking to play in warmer weather. Talking about May, of course, come playoff time. 8:30 left in the first quarter. Here's Highland Park after another defensive stop. The defense has been solid so far for the Scots. Backing down his defender is Fielder. He's able to break away. Fielder like to rock the neon orange. You know which one he is because he's got the neon orange soles on the shoes. He's setting up goal line extended. Georgetown's done a very good job of keeping Highland Park around the perimeter, not allowing a ton inside, whereas on the other side, Highland Park has allowed a couple balls near the crease, but Georgetown just hadn't been able to take advantage yet once because of the nice save from Spencer Hopkins. Now it's Gent winding up. That one skips in. Goes right in between the legs of Jack Bradford, and it's a 2-0 Scots lead.
Well, very reminiscent of his older brother Finn. That long-range bounce shot right off that right side. Beautiful location there by Jake Gent, but you could see that building for Highland Park. They were a little bit rushed their two previous offensive possessions. That time they slowed it down. They worked it back to the top of the key to Gent, and he made Georgetown pay.
That might have been probably the highest difficulty of shot that Highland Park's been able to rip throughout this first quarter, but is able to go in because of the accuracy from Gent. Like you said, it is reminiscent a little bit of Finn there, but now he's putting his own stamp on this HP program. 2-0 Scots, 7:58 left in the first quarter. Back to the face-off X we go. It was won last time by Georgetown. Got de-sticked. I think he got de-sticked by his own teammate, but they're going to give it to Georgetown, and now the Eagles will work on the attack.
It's back-to-back face-off wins there for Nicholas English. So they now trying to work it. And watch 26 in front of the net, Matthew Houtz. He's been very active.
Yeah, back and forth. We've got both English brothers. Also, Heflin was very active right in the middle as well. Up top, Nathan English now. Gives it far side to his brother Nicholas. English clanks off the near post, and it goes out. Far sideline. Georgetown still with a chance to pick it up, and they do. Now they've got numbers. A couple guys out of place here for Highland Park defensively, but they're able to get back in time. Now looking for English to set things up, and instead he'll dump it on the goal line extended, and the Eagles will reset.
Just slowing down the pace here, and you can tell they've caught Highland Park having to chase a couple of times. When they get up inside that 10 to 12 yard mark, closer to the net, Highland Park's doing a good job keeping them outside, but as soon as they're able to make movements inside, start to move and penetrate toward the goal, the Scotty D's been in a little bit of trouble.
Now here's Petter sizing up that HP defense, loses it, now cranks away a shot from 10 yards out, and Cole Petter cuts the lead in half. It's 2-1. Georgetown on the board for the first time in 2019.
Really nice focus there by Petter to stay with it, because like you said, it got poked right out of the stick. Concentration, follows it up, picks it up, and initially the confusion there might have helped open up a little bit of a gap for him to get that shot off, and a beautiful finish.
Petter talked about it just initially, was talking about how he was kind of backing up, like you said, resetting, taking your time, but he also looked like he was just sizing up HP, and he was one-on-one with Alexander Kashana, made one move, like you said, lost the ball in the process, but because of the good stick play, was able to pick it up and snipe one home. 2-1, Scott still lead it. Reeves looking to get his first win in the face-off X in a couple tries. He does just that because of Jake Gent able to pick up the ground ball near the numbers far side.
Well, he's not, physically inside. You can tell he's going to lose that battle. So he pops it up there, tries to get it out to some wings who can come over and help him rake it up. That's something Andrew Bonnet was so good at for the D2 team a year ago. Obviously, he's out due to injury, but he's probably moved up to D1 for this season.
A couple guys not on the roster, or at least on the roster, but not going to be a part of the program as of right now, one of which Worthy Wiles, not because of injury, but because of basketball season.
He's having an outstanding year for HP basketball, by the way. Worthy's been really good. Got to call a game with him and Coach Clark against Brian Adams a few weeks ago. Nice shot there.
That one also off and wide. I believe Bradford might have gotten a leg on that one to save it wide. Right in the middle. Scotty's goal line extended. It bounces away, and it's going to be picked up by Georgetown. Here's English trying to clear it. He's got a man in front. He ends up dumping it off. Finally, Georgetown on the other direction. Another good defensive stop there for the Eagles as they look to tie things up, trailing by 1. 5:20 left in the first quarter.
Jason Tannenbaum, 12 in white for Highland Park, was jumping up and down, screaming for that ball over there on that far left slot.
Just wasn't able to find the open man. Another chance where Highland Park was able to close it in, get within point-blank range, but unable to get the exchange off in time. This one knocked away, still on the ground. A scrum for this one as it trickles all the way over in the near side territory. And finally, Nathan English is the one that picks it up, gives it back to his brother Nicholas as the Georgetown Eagles reset, trailing 2-1. English, far hash, spins to his left, breaks back to the right and sends it humming above the crossbar and out of play on the inline. Georgetown retains possession.
Nice offense by the Fogo there, just baiting his defender, makes a little move, finds the crease.
Whistles blow. This is going to go to Highland Park.
HP's able to keep this alive here, coming back the other side. They'll slow it down, let Georgetown get back defensively. We got a substitution coming in.
Yeah, these officials making them come all the way back and then finally starting that clock again. Under 4 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the first. Cradling with that right arm, it's Charlie Fielder. He's berated by the long stick of Nicholas Petter. Back behind, that's Jacob Roberts. Or no, that's Hegema, who already has a goal in the game. He's able to dump it off far side.
And that's another one. Charlie Felder wide open off the other side. And that's one where, the more you get seasoned as the season goes along.
Right in the middle. That's a good shot. High percentage look, but it skips just off into the right. Jason Tannenbaum put a little extra mustard behind that one, but sent it a couple feet too far to the right.
A similar look to what Gent scored on, just the opposite side.
Not a whole lot of bodies between him and Jack Bradford in net. Here's Highland Park again, leading by 1, under 3.5 to play in the first. Back behind, Hegema again. Goal line extended, tried to turn around, and his stick comes out of his hand from behind. Highland Park still looks like they'll keep possession here.
Oh,
before
big
he's
hit.
just flattened on the far sideline, and a flag will fly. He knew it, too. As soon as he laid the hit, he looked up and was waiting for the flag, and so Highland Park will have possession on the far sideline, and they'll have a man up for the first time here in the 2019 regular season.
Hey, that'll wake you up. If either team wanted to start off a little slow, that'll get the blood going.
Jacob Roberts, the guilty party, he'll head to the penalty box, and, well, he, I don't want to say deserved it because that was physical, but he did lay down. He got his money's worth, let's just say that. If you're going to go to the penalty box for something, you might as well make it for something like that. Laying down the wood. 3 minutes left. Highland Park on the advantage for a minute. Or no, for 30 seconds, rather. Here's a long windup. Hegema again. No, that's Jason Tannenbaum. And Tannenbaum snipes it home from 15 yards out. Makes it 3-1 Scots. And they take advantage of the man up.
Mentioned earlier, Tannenbaum was calling for on the offensive side there with the man up. The Scotties make quick work. Beautiful finish on the long-range shot. They're liking that look over there from that right side. 3-1 Scotties up, just under 3 minutes to play here in the opening quarter.
That's what you like to see. Your coach Ross Thompson and company. Good passing, taking advantage of the man advantage, but only using 14 seconds to do so. Another face-off win here for Georgetown. They've been pretty successful in the face-off X throughout the course of the first quarter. Hasn't been easy, so I'm not going to say dominant. And Highland Park's had their fair share of wins as well, but this is one of the ways that Georgetown can get back in that ball game is they can continue to win at the X, and this one's going to skip away from Alec Heflin. And Highland Park will regain possession. Gallus with it, looking for a clearance. He'll give it all the way back to Spencer Hopkins. Hopkins parading, gets it knocked away.
Wow.
Able to keep it inside the crease, and whistles are going to blow. And they're going to give it to Georgetown, I think.
What a play by Nathan Shrew.
Absolutely. Georgetown is going to get it here, and now flag flies. I think Gallus is going to be called.
Misconduct here. Yeah, I think you're right. Said something to the official. They didn't like that.
Oh, this might be a penalty shot. No, just substitutions. I thought with them going off there was a whole mass of substitutions. Gallus still in the middle of it. I'm not sure who they called. It's going to be delay of game. Okay. Far side, it's Spencer Harper, another captain. And he's the one that is called for the penalty. So 30 seconds in the box for Harper. Now Georgetown looking to make good with a man advantage. 2:05 left to play. Already 10 seconds off the clock in the penalty.
Scotty's burned one already. There's that shot for the finish. Wicked shot by Nicholas English.
English put some extra English on that one and was able to just hum it home. 3-2, and we're back to a one-goal game. Both teams able to convert with a man up here in the last couple minutes or so. And both teams doing it very quickly. It took Highland Park 14 seconds on their man-up advantage. And then on the other side, Georgetown, it only took them 16 seconds to put one home. 3-2, 1:56 left in the first.
I don't know that I've seen a Fogo since we've been here in the THSLL as involved offensively as Nicholas English has been so far here today.
Yeah.
You know, typically you'll see you've got your main Fogo that'll come in when you have face-off. Oh, we got a player down.
Reeves took a hit, and he's hobbling off on that ankle. Came up holding it immediately. And the officials giving him time to run off. And the fact that he's able to jog off and put some pressure on it is definitely a good sign. Maybe just a cramp or not sure what it was, but he was able to get off pretty quickly. Definitely ran off quicker than I would run off the field. Here's Georgetown. Squeezing through a couple defenders behind the back, and it goes just wide. Heflin.
That'd have been something.
Woo! That would have been interesting.
Split three and go behind the back. Unbelievable.
He almost had it, too. He had everybody on the Highland Park side.
That's a big turnover for the Scotties. Can they flip it with numbers?
Oh, instead it's dropped. out of the stick of Tannenbaum and immediately picked up. Good stick play by Georgetown. And now the Eagles clearing it all the way back behind the goal line extended. That pass goes wide again. But it looks like Georgetown's going to pick it up, and it will be Heflin. Gets things going. Near side, here's Truitt, who made that magnificent play to actually end up forcing the man up. Just a couple moments ago, underneath a minute to play here in the first quarter. Georgetown looking to tie things up at 3. It's 3-2 Highland Park as we speak. Georgetown taking their time, waiting for that final shot. Far hash, English, now back behind. Working it all the way around. Here's Heflin, berated by 2 HP defenders. Tried to break to the left. Great defense again. Yeah, like you said, Gallus all over him, and instead the shot's going to be saved. Spencer Hopkins got his net on it. 20 seconds left for Highland Park to counter.
They got to push it up the alley.
Georgetown got back very quickly. Now the long stick near side of Spencer Harper, who's back in the ballgame after the penalty. Looking to make something happen. 8 seconds. 7 seconds. Here's Tannenbaum into the crease. It pops off the helmet of a player, and that should bring the first quarter to an end. 0.7 up on the clock, but
they'll just pop it in for a second, maybe walk it up. There it goes.
And there is the buzzer. So after one, Highland Park leading at 3-2 over Georgetown. Two very successful teams from a year ago, the defending state champions of Highland Park, and a team that won almost 20 games last year in Georgetown. And you're seeing exactly that. The efficiency with a man up, it helped out, but also the defense from both sides was very impressive, especially toward the end. Highland Park, and you looked at Mason Gallus, the way he was able to berate Heflin whenever he tried to back down into the crease. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, solid job of switching there for Highland Park, especially on the defensive side with Gallus coming over. But I think early on you could see trying to get a feel for it here. You know, first game of the season, let's knock off some of the rust. I think you'll start to see some improved passing as this one comes along. And we'll have to keep an eye on Reeves. He looks like he's coming back out of the dressing room here. And maybe you're right, Colin. It could have just been a cramp in that situation.
It was nice to see because immediately when he went down, he rolled over and grabbed that right ankle. And whenever he grabbed that right ankle, he popped up and then sprinted off the field. So maybe just a singer, maybe just a cramp, but he was able to put weight on it immediately.
Yeah, he's over on the sideline now, and it looks like he's practicing some face-offs.
He's got something wrapped up on his knee. I don't know if he had that beforehand. I don't remember seeing that on his right leg, but he does have a little bit of a compression sleeve on there, and maybe that's what he did. He went back to the locker room, put a compression sleeve on there. Now he's looking, like you said, to get some reps. He's an important piece to winning this ball game because of the way that Georgetown has competed in the face-off X. They've won 5 of 7 so far throughout the course of the, 4 of 6 rather, throughout the course of the first quarter. And Reeves, if he's able to win a couple face-offs here and there, it really gives the Scotties a great chance to put some points up on the board and not have to deal with guys like Heflin and English, both English brothers, even because of the way that they've been successful in this one. Kyle Yeomans, Zach Wolchuk here with you from Highlander Stadium. Game On Sports coverage of Highland Park Gold Lacrosse, defending state champions, defending their title for the first time since winning it back in Round Rock last season. A lot of potential here. Of course, the Highland Park Blue Squad got underway earlier today. They were down in Waco taking on Dripping Springs, and even though it was a scrimmage, lots of situational work, but the first quarter was played much like a real game, and they led 10-0 at the end of that first quarter against a decent Dripping Springs squad. So knowing that kind of gets that excitement going for lacrosse season. Winning the face-off X here for Georgetown. Like you said, the very active Nicholas English able to get another face-off win. He dumps it off to Cole Petter to get things started here for Georgetown.
Quick sub coming in. But another big face-off win there for Georgetown, able to solidify that offense, slow it on down.
Got some confusion here, and now we've got Petter running off that right side. Active stick work from Harper, who's been great throughout the first quarter, now into the second.
Yeah, he really has been. You can see he's the one communicating with everybody, switching back to the side. These loose balls.
Crucial. It's going to be popped up in the air by Gent. Gent gathers it in.
That's his second big one.
And now he's all by himself. Running far side, changing fields, gets it to Tannenbaum.
Oh, look,
Tannenbaum had
side.
a chance, and then he loses it behind, and it's going to be picked up by Nicholas English.
Well, that was Fielder over there working left, or our left, the goal line extended side, just calling for the ball. Unable to execute the pass.
I like the idea from Gent, looking to switch directions. Here's a nice move. That one underneath it. It's going to clank off of the net and then off of the pole as well. Another good shot there from Alec Heflin, who's looking for his first goal of the season.
That rebound just trickled slowly out in front. It took a minute. Spencer Hopkins didn't know where that was and finally became aware, put that net right over it, shut that down.
He's been effective throughout the first half so far.
Both goalies have been pretty good early on. Bradford for Georgetown, Hopkins as well. They've seen a couple of good looks, made some key stops.
The way that Georgetown's been able to get inside, though, and challenge Hopkins, I think, has definitely upped their confidence level.
I think so far this is an excellent season opener, just to kind of a measuring stick game, see where you're at for Highland Park, because this is a good Georgetown team.
Oh, falling on the turf as Jackson Holmes loses it initially, but he's got some teammates to come back and help him out. Nice pickup there by Alexander Kashada. Kashada came over and helped things out just at the last second. Now they're going to give a chance here for Holmes to reset. Trying to direct some traffic. He's kept it stick length there by Evan Engel. Far side, George Wright back into the middle. Good pass back to Wright. Goal line extended, and it's knocked away. Another good play from Nathan Truitt. And Truitt has been all over the place.
Shot a nice pick right there.
It's actually Nicholas Petter, on the defensive play for Georgetown. That one picked out of straight air again. Not sure what the whistle's blowing here.
I think possession's going to come back over to Highland Park. White ball.
Lots of coaching on that far sideline. Which Justin Becker for Georgetown and Ross Thompson for Highland Park.
Keep an eye on Will Scott. Working goal line extended off that far side.
Near side, that one
shot.
Trying to go top shelf, and Henry Deal sent it a little bit high. Yeah, Will Scott in the game for one of the first times today. Now he's going to show off the speed. Knocked out in thin air.
Look at that. Will Scott. It's a nice little check. Kicks the ball back over to himself. Way to stay with it. He turns it over at first. Keeps it alive.
He's all by himself over there.
Yeah, nice play. Oh, long wind up there. That one deflected up by Jackson Holmes.
Take that, 831 wins and counting.
Yeah.
That one went through the uprights.
And we got a timeout. Blue.
Yeah, it looks like Georgetown's going to call a timeout after that shot from Deal. Highland Park still leading 3-2, almost halfway through the second quarter of action. 8:30 left in the first half of action. Neither team has scored here in the second period. Both teams have had chances. Talked about the goalkeeping play, but I think the defenses deserve a lot of credit. Nicholas Petter's been great. Nathan Truitt for that defense for Georgetown. And then you look on the other side, and you've got guys like Spencer Harper, and Kashada made a great defensive play. Mason Gallus has been great all game long as well. Both defenses showing out very early in this 2019 season.
Yeah, we talked about the goalies early on. I mean, they both keeps been pretty darn good to start. Only a 3-2, pretty low-scoring game early on in this game. But you're right. I mean, both defenses have been solid. At Highland Park's 2 man-ups. We've gone ahead and killed those off. So, you know, the special team, and they scored on the 1 man-up they had. So the special teams for the Scotties, I think, have been outstanding early on in this game. So, but again, you expect to see the offenses kind of pick things up, not only as this game progresses, but as the offenses do as well. You work on your plays, your passing gets a little bit more crisp. We've seen a lot of turnovers here early, a lot of loose balls, and that's been the key. I think you've got to give the Scots a lot of credit, especially Gent, who's come away with 2 real big loose balls.
Talking about early in the 2019 season. Both of these teams have some pretty tough games coming up on the schedule. How about these two games to open up the 2019 season for Georgetown? You start at Highland Park, and then you turn around the day after this game, and you take on Prosper. So you play both teams that were in the Division II state championship game on the road in back-to-back days to start the regular season.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet. I mean, but you know what? Why not?
Absolutely.
At this point in the season, early on, it's a lot. We talk about those non-district foes in football. It's a similar deal. You go ahead, you schedule some of the best teams you can, teams that you expect to see hopefully in the playoffs. You kind of figure out, all right, this is the level that we need to be at. And for Georgetown, I mean, they look very good here early on. Be a fascinating matchup tomorrow against a good Prosper team.
Highland Park's got Bridge Lacrosse and Fort Worth Lacrosse in the next coming weeks before they take on Prestonwood, and then Westlake on the road. They'll travel to take on the Chaps down in Austin. Highland Park on the attack after the timeout. 8:15 left and counting here in the first half of action. We got George Wright going goal line extended, cradling with that right hand. Goes back up top, gives it to Hegelma. And it's given back here to Fielder. Highland Park taking their time, trying to set something up. Nobody working in front of the crease, at least as of right now.
Pretty good defense there by Georgetown, forcing this out. I mean, they're not really allowing a lot inside. All three Highland Park goals have been from long range, about that 12 to 15 yards out.
There's a long wind-up. Gent sent that pass just wide, and it is going to go, kept in play by Hegelma, but it might play in favor of Georgetown. Got numbers. 5-on-4 on the way back and from behind. Gent knocks it away.
Well, first off, the Scotties did a great job coming back. Here's Kashada. And right now, I mean, overall, defensively, these loose balls, these scrambles, Georgetown comes away with it, but a great job of getting back there on D for Highland Park.
Well, quit the fast break. How about this? Wide open, and it's a save. Point blank with the feet. Rejected Matthew Holtz, and Highland Park is going to go the other way.
That was incredible, because we're thinking, wow, somebody's left unattended, and then Hopkins just drops down. Not today. What an incredible save.
That's as good of a save as I've seen in 3+ years.
But we like to call Doak
all
Walker
these games.
Superman up here.
I don't know, man.
That was
very good.
Very Superman-esque.
That might have been better than any save I've seen. And I love Doak Walker, but
that was incredible.
That was an incredible save. Right at the last moment, just getting a foot on it, doing anything he can. Keeps it a 1-goal lead for Highland Park. 6:22 left here in the second quarter. Still in awe. What a save. That's usually a slam dunk or of a goal, but now you got Highland Park looking to add to their lead.
There it is.
That one right in the middle, knocked away. Good
just,
defensive
that's one
play.
of those, you got the numbers. It's a 3-on-2 down there, just tic-tac-toe, but the crispness just isn't quite there, and that's something that will be developed.
Nicholas English was the one that knocked that away initially, and it looked like you said there was a chance there for Highland Park. Now on the other side, Georgetown, that one's saved again. Spencer Hopkins, like a big wall right now in net, keeps it a 1-score game.
That was one they go down low again, trying to get it between the wickets, and he spreads the legs, but he sticks the net down.
Jonathan Thomas with the clear.
Hopkins has turned it on here in the second quarter. That one knocked out of the stick and put onto the turf. Georgetown unable to get it back, though, and Highland Park's going to keep possession. Here's Aiden Cox on that far side. And a timeout called, and I think this is a good timeout here for Highland Park. Ross Thompson getting to just kind of reset. Both teams kind of out of whack in terms of the flow, the tempo, the pace. And with 5:12 left in the second quarter, Highland Park still nursing that 1-goal lead. Trying to add to it. Georgetown playing great defense, and then Highland Park's just had, like you said, the Superman of Spencer Hopkins come out here in the second quarter and make some incredible plays to keep it a 1-goal lead.
Yeah, I mean, this one's been tight throughout. from the start. I mean, I don't think either team clearly has an advantage. Seems like two very evenly matched opponents, but just some missed opportunities, I think, on both sides, no doubt about it. It comes with execution. But the goaltending, I mean, unbelievable by Spencer Hopkins. They're two mega saves.
Yeah, the two mega saves, and the one came from about 1.5 feet outside the crease, and he was able to just get a foot on it. 5:12 left in the second quarter. Still a decent little crowd out here for a season opener, even though it's 36 degrees outside. A little bit of rain earlier.
They love their lacrosse. I mean, if there's one thing about Highland Park, they travel with the best of them. We've been fortunate to go and call games in Austin and Houston, Round Rock, and the Highland Park fan base, man, they always show up.
One of the best in the state.
We're pretty spoiled here in the North District. Jesuit does an excellent job as well of traveling.
ESD.
And the Woodlands. Got to give the Woodlands credit. We went and called that game for the THSL Game of the Week. Jesuit hosting the Woodlands.
Oh, and that was
it was almost a Woodlands home game.
That was a massive crowd. Lots, like you said, lots of great lacrosse in the North District. And we were talking off air beforehand. The Central District has definitely got a lot of potential, a lot of youth coming up through the works. Westlake, Lake Travis, teams like Georgetown in the Division II ranks. Lots of good lacrosse being played down in the Central District coming out of Austin. Trying to get back to that Final Four. Highland Park was there last year, both at the Division I and Division II level. That Woodlands team that you talked about, D1 Woodlands squad, was able to knock off the Blue Scotties, Blue varsity for Highland Park.
I got some revenge from that crazy regular season game those two squads played. Highland Park with a miraculous comeback there in the fourth quarter. But that Woodlands team last year,
they were destined.
Unbelievable. I mean, that senior class that they graduated, they were an outstanding club.
And then you look at Highland Park D2, talk about revenge. They were beaten pretty handily by Prosper early in the season, turned around, played them in the state championship game, and won it 10-7. Got the final last laugh, I should say, against a Prosper team that kind of took them to town early in the regular season. But Highland Park walked away with the trophy, trying to defend their title for the first time. 4.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Here's Jake Gent. Spins to his left, breaks back to his right. Now in the middle of the hash marks. Switches fields. That one ripped from the far side. Kashada with a shot, and he sends it off into the right of that far post.
A little bit better movement there. You saw Jake trying to create.
Oh, look at Scott. The speed from Scott went straight from that in line, and he had a chance at it.
He's a lethal weapon there, coming from behind the net. Will Scott's got tremendous speed.
Here's Scott again. Closed in a little bit quicker on him that time. Now they realize he does have tremendous speed. And now Kashana's going to reset. Starts from that 35, now working inward.
Look at Jen.
Oh, he's wide open. Good exchange
that was a
on
nice
that
job
one.
Coming back by Stallings.
Long wind up, and it's knocked away. Cole Petter was the one that had a stick on it. Kashada was there to pick it up. Now you've got Highland Park again. Underneath 3.5 to play. Still 3-2 Highland Park, and another whistle called, and it's going to go to Georgetown. Highland Park now on the defensive side. Oh, and it's knocked away, or just out of the stick immediately. That's not what you want to see there if you're Grant Tickner. Georgetown, luckily, able to get it back for their own good. And for a clearance, and that's not going to happen, and it ends up hitting Coach. I think that's Coach Thompson that just took it in the back. That doesn't feel good.
Oh, look at that.
Woo. Lots of physicality far side. Ball loose, still in between the numbers and the far sideline. Highland Park's able to pick it up, trying to desperately get it to his teammate. Is George Wright. Wright still in the middle of it, and Gallus comes out of the pile with the ground ball.
Nice scoop there. Way to rake that one in, because that was alive. It seemed like forever.
Long pass, gives it back to Deal. Georgetown, a very physical club. You can see it every time anybody in white has possession. Another desperate heave, gives it to Deal off of the ground ball. Switching directions, and it's popped forward. Put onto the carpet again, and it's swept up by Georgetown. Jacob Roberts with it. Neither team really able to get any kind of action here underneath the 4-minute mark. Now down to 2 minutes left in the first half.
Well, you haven't seen a ton of sustained possession right now. There's been a lot of turnovers back and forth. Now Georgetown will try and slow it down and operate and set up that offensive attack.
Got Ben Benson, only Georgetown player with a black helmet instead of a white one, running around. This one near side, and it's out of play. Kevin Hayes tried to keep it in play, but was unable to do so. Now Benson with it, goal line extended, working back behind. 1:30 left in the first half of action. Whistles blow, timeout called. Georgetown wants to talk it over as they still trail 3-2. No goals here in this second period. Maybe that's what I get for in between the quarters saying that both offenses were starting to figure things out. So the defenses have been the storyline here in the second.
Yeah, the defenses and a couple of crazy saves by Spencer Hopkins, man. That's really been the key. But just I think you could say that not only the weather's been a little bit sloppy, but both offenses have certainly been sloppy, especially here in these last few possessions. Just ain't able to connect consistently with some of their passes, a lot of turnovers, loose balls, scrambles up and down, and both squads have done a solid. It's probably pretty even in terms of who's winning these loose balls, but with a minute and a half, I mean, this is a situation where you'll see coming out of a timeout, so you're able to take advantage.
With a 3-2 lead, nobody has scored without a man advantage since there was about 5 minutes and 35 seconds left in the first quarter. So we've got a full quarter and then some without a goal with an even amount of players on the field at one point. Both teams had a goal with a man up. But both defenses, like you said, and both goalkeepers have played extremely well. Jack Bradford hadn't seen a whole lot of shots on goal throughout the course of this second quarter. But whenever he has, he's been able to stand strong. And then, of course, we talked about Spencer Hopkins and some of the highlight reel plays that he's made throughout the first couple quarters of now the 2019 season. Looking at some of the schedule for Highland Park, I mentioned earlier they play Bridge and then Fort Worth. That Bridge lacrosse matchup coming up Friday, the 15th. And then the turnaround, you play on that Wednesday following against Fort Worth, and then a little bit of time off. You got the spring break trip and everything, and then you end up playing Prestonwood on March 7th. Take another couple weeks off. You play at Westlake, and then that D2 team down in Austin, you play at Chaps Stadium before the state championship matchup, or rematch, I should say, with Prosper. That game right here on March 26th at Highlander Stadium. That's a Tuesday night matchup, 7:45 start time. Should be a pretty decent crowd for the rematch of the state championship game from a year ago. Now here's Georgetown. After the timeout, they wanted to talk things over. Coach Justin Becker on that far sideline trying to set his team up for success. And there's a nice shot far side from that hash mark. It was Alec Heflin again. 1:08 left. That one was telegraphed high. Trying to tie it up, much like they've tried to do for the past quarter. Starting on that goal line now. Closing in on 60 seconds to play in the half. Going around the defense, and that one sneaks in the near post. And Cole Petter gets his second. And exactly 1 minute left in the second quarter. We finally got our first goal of the period, and Georgetown ties it up 3-3.
Well, an impressive play there by Petter, because you had Kevin Hayes also come over to help out Kashada, who was defending, and he's able to just come around and get himself just a little bit of room. And an excellent finish there by Cole Petter. Coming out of that timeout, like we talked about, you're trying able to set something up. At first, Highland Park sniffed that out, but a good play on the pass in to tie this one up at 3. I mean, we got ourselves a dandy here, Kyle.
It has been very physical, very well fought, and now whistles will blow, giving it back to Highland Park. And Nicholas English has no idea why. Still asking the official on the near side. Now he's going to get an explanation. Oh, no, they are going to give it to Georgetown.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything.
I thought, if anything, it could have been on Christian Reeves. And I think that's actually what happened. I think the official might have pointed the wrong direction. So 54 seconds and counting. English has it straight away. He's being shadowed right in front by that HP defense. Georgetown not only looking for the tie here in the first half, but looking to take a lead into the break. Good defense. So that was knocked away. Highland Park putting that one on the turf again. Working on the hash mark. Now breaking back to the right is Jackson Rowe. Rowe, goal line extended. Thought about going to the left. Instead goes to the right. And the little switch of direction was able to sneak it past Spencer Hopkins. And for the first time today, Highland Park trails and Georgetown takes their first lead. It's 4-3.
It's a beautiful goal there by Jackson Rowe. Just a step one way, comes back the other, rips it home. 2 quickies there on the board for Georgetown to take their first lead, 4-3. Pair of goals from Petter. Nicholas English is on the board, and Jackson Rowe, the 4 goal scorers. The 4 goals scored by those 3 individual players. In Highland Park now with 20.5 ticks left in the half. Can they try and answer in a hurry?
Rowe, a name we haven't necessarily talked about throughout the course of the game. And, well, he pops up at an important time now with a lot of momentum. 2 unanswered now for Georgetown. Looking for 1 more even with 10 seconds left. Now you've got English bullying his way inside. Unable to get there. Good defense from Gent and company. A long windup. That one far side, and it'll go just wide. Heflin wanted it. 1 second left. Clock's going to start, and the buzzer's going to sound before the halftime break. But Georgetown, with 2 unanswered in the final minute of the first half, leads it 4-3 heading into the break here from Highlander Stadium, coming on the road against the defending Division II state champions and putting up 4 goals in the first half, and they lead it by a single score.
Yeah, extremely impressive first half there by the Georgetown Eagles to be up 4-3 here on the road. Tough place to play against the reigning D2 state champs. I'm sure Coach Thompson will take his bunch into the halftime break, and they'll make some adjustments. I think they left some opportunities out there in that first half. We'll see if they can capitalize in the second.
Season opener for both squads. Both squads with very successful 2018 campaigns, and both trying to get off to a quick start here in 2019. Zach, looking toward that second half, if you're Highland Park, what's one of the keys to trying to turn this thing around and kind of reverse your fortune toward the end of that second quarter?
Well, I think turnovers have been an issue for them on the offensive side of things, but also, all 3 of their goals, like we talked about, have been from long range. If they can try and, whether it's quicker ball movement, trying to just get something closer inside towards the net, might help them get a little bit more easier looks on the offensive side.
4-3, Georgetown and the Eagles with the slight advantage over the defending Division II state champion Highland Park Scots on the road here from Highlander Stadium. We're going to take a break here for the halftime break. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. You've been watching Highland Park Lacrosse and HP Varsity Gold here on Game On Sports. A shot of what we think is downtown Dallas off in the distance, covered up by some fog and some rain on a drizzly, cold Saturday morning here from Dallas, Texas. Highlander Stadium, just north of downtown, where the Highland Park Scots looking to defend their Division II state championship from a year ago with their season opener against the Georgetown Eagles. Not going in their way, at least toward the end of that second quarter, as the Eagles put up 2 unanswered to finish the first half, and they lead it 4-3 here on Game On Sports. Kyle Yeomans alongside the great Zach Wolchuk. And Zach, you talked about turnovers for Highland Park in that first half, trying to limit the turnovers and be able to find just a little bit of a groove going into this second half. It's a season opener. There's going to be some rust you got to knock off, but if you do find yourself down by a crooked number of goals to this Georgetown team, it's going to be a little bit tougher to try and at least bounce back because of the success that Georgetown had last year as well.
Yeah, no, they've been really good defensively, and I think their goaltending's been pretty darn good as well. When you look at Jack Bradford net, all in all, a really well-played first half defensively for Georgetown. I thought Highland Park had some moments. Obviously, Spencer Hopkins with a couple of major key stops in this one. But I do think offensively for the Scotties, they're going to look to be a lot more crisp in their execution because they left some plays out there.
Another face-off win here for Georgetown, and we are underway here in this second half of action. That one right in the middle, a wide open Georgetown Eagle. That's Nathan Truitt. That was just right outside the slot camping out, and there was not a white jersey within stick length at all, even close. But luckily a misplay right there in the middle of the slot, and a good play by Spencer Hopkins to come up and get that loose ball. Now Highland Park looking the other direction. It's not necessarily the way you want to start off the second half, but at least you haven't been burned by it yet.
Well, now they're able to kind of slow down, set things up, and that's where all 3 of their goals, aside from the man-up advantage, the other 2 have come from. You know, you haven't really seen either team. Both defenses have done an excellent job getting back, but the fast break really hasn't been a factor in this one yet.
Yeah, neither team really has had any luck on the fast break. Both have had their opportunities, but none have been able to take advantage of it. Most of it's come off of set plays. And then, like you said, a couple man-up goals, one for each team. Now you've got Scott working goal line extended.
I like what they did there, moving Tannenbaum, just getting him on the move right in front of the goal there. And you saw Gent started off kind of patrolling the middle crease area. Now he filed back. Now you get another switch up front.
Got a lot more traffic in the middle of the slot than we saw earlier in the game from Highland Park, where the majority of their game plan revolves, I should say, around the perimeter, trying to find an open shot from outside. Here's Kashada, dumps it back, trying to find Tannenbaum, and it goes wide. There's Jake Gent to pick it up. Gent now with the left hand, breaks back to his right, lost it in the process, and it's going to be picked up by Georgetown. Georgetown loses it again, but it's picked up in the slot by Nicholas Petter, who's been quite possibly the most successful defender for Georgetown today.
Yeah, and Nicholas English has been outstanding as well, not only inside the X for Georgetown, but has a big goal, sizable young man.
Kind of a desperation heave, trying to get it to a blue jersey on the near side. Initially, it kind of trickled away, but Jackson Rowe, who had quite possibly the most highlight reel-esque type goal of the day, to make it a 4-3 lead. Now with possession, working back behind goal line extended. Guarded closely by Kashada, now breaks to his left. Nice stutter step, able to open up a couple inches, but not enough to try and make a pass. Here's Rowe again, working around the crease. The pass goes wide. It's going to go all the way into that, to the feet of the Georgetown bench. Staying with Georgetown.
Good job there by Highland Park's defense, forcing everything outside. Now here's a run in.
Ooh, Heflin again.
We had Houts working on the other side, opposite goal line, extended there if you wanted to try it. I'm not sure if that was a pass or a shot.
They're going to count it as a shot because it did go out on the end line, and that's going to be picked up immediately after another shot from Heflin, but it's going to be knocked away. Heflin gets it back himself. Now snipes underneath, and Hopkins goes down to a knee to keep it in front, and Highland Park looking to counter, going the other direction.
Steady as she goes. Highland Park want to try and push it. The turnover back the other side. And Hopkins again, another big-time stop. Now here's Scott working with it, and he's got to get his stick just completely taken out.
Another great defensive stop by Nicholas Petter. Works it past midfield, still has it with a long stick, and he's going to go all the way to the numbers far side. He's being shadowed by Aiden Cox.
It's a throwaway.
And it's going to go back to Highland Park. Nice heads-up play there by Mason Gallus.
Highland Park really just needs something on the offensive side right now. They just look a little lack of energy. And they haven't really had a lot of breaks. They've gotten out there and they've had the numbers advantage. I like the more movement, early on that first possession here of the quarter.
Georgetown's
a lot more movement in front.
They've made a lot of great plays with the stick. Their stick checks
really
have been as good as anybody's against this Highland Park squad.
There you go. There's Gent up top. No, excuse me, that's Holmes.
Yeah. Tries to get it to Gent, and the pass goes wide. Nice pickup far side by Sam Wheeler. Wheeler sends it back to Fielder. Fielder now trying to lose his defender. Finds a wide open Gent. Gent sends it off into the right, and got Hegema over to pick it up. 7:22 left in the third quarter. Highland Park still trailing 4-3. Quite possibly their longest possession of the second half so far. Might be their longest possession since the first quarter. Gent with a nice stutter step, but he wrapped around it a little bit too much, and he sends it to the left, kind of hooked it.
Out. Yeah, it did. Came out just a little wonky. You could tell as soon as that left his stick, he wanted that one back. Just curved that one wide to the left.
And that's his bread and butter. Sniping from long range. We talked about it earlier. That's what his goal came off of, was right around 12 yards out, off to the right-hand side, or I guess near side to us. Here's Gent, pushed all the way back into the corner by Ben Benson. Does the swim move, now breaks inside, loses Benson, but picked up by that Georgetown defense. 6:40 left in the third quarter. Hegema. Now Fielder setting things up, and he trips immediately. Still has enough speed to at least get a step on Benson. Gent calling for it up top. Oh no, I take it back. That's Hegema again. And a turnover. Right into the stick. It's a new goalie as well. Trying to see exactly who that is. It's Nathan Truitt now in goal.
28.
Despite the success that Jack Bradford had, Bradford didn't allow a goal in that second quarter. But a new goalie in net here for Georgetown.
And that might be just, hey, we want to rotate. We got two guys we like. We want to get them both some reps.
Also a new look for defense, and how about that one over a couple defenders? And Nicholas English was able to fire that one home. Dude, his second goal of the day.
He's a beast, man. This Nicholas English kid, dude is a stud. I mean, I think that he's done more than enough here now, and we're talking 2.5 quarters. He's been awesome inside the X. He's got 2 incredible goals. He's got good size, good speed. He's doing a two-way player, not only on the offensive side, but he's been solid on defense. Guy is the real deal, man.
And he's been all over the place. Good size, great speed. Oh, man. It's the best. New Fogo here for Highland Park. It's Kashada, instead of Reeves. Reeves, we saw him kind of suffer a little bit of a setback injury-wise in that first half.
Well, Kashada, if you remember last year, would come in on occasion for Anthony Gobriel inside the X as well.
Trying to get that to Will Scott. Scott got it knocked away from behind. Once again, it was Petter. Petter's been a pest on that defensive side. Now Georgetown with a 2-goal lead. It's the largest lead that they've had today. Highland Park at one point led 3-1. Also led 2-0. Now looking for the first 3-goal lead that either squad has had today. All right, up top, here's English again looking for the Hattie. That one sniped from the left side, and a good save by Spencer Hopkins.
Another good stick save by Spencer. Now we got to work on the clears. And that's an area that Major Power was beautiful on. Is just getting those clearances up top, getting a safe outlet, and letting your offense go ahead and turn it up the field in a hurry.
Yeah, the clearance has been, to say the least, a little bit of an issue. And I'll tell you who's really been an issue, and that's Nicholas Petter. He has been all over the place. Forced that one out of the stick of Charlie Fielder, and Petter sends it the other way here for Georgetown.
Well, the big boys for this Eagle club, Petter, English, Rowe, the 3 goal scorers, they're performing, no doubt about it. They've stepped up here and made some really key plays, not only on offense but on the defensive side as well. Here's some good D played by Highland Park, able to get some switches out there.
That one right over the top. Look at Spencer Hopkins. That would have been a goal, but it was able to be knocked away by the left shoulder. Still in danger, but he's able to clamp it down just outside the crease. Hopkins with great play in between the posts, and Highland Park is able to sneak away without a goal up on the board.
Yeah, and Spencer Harper, he just got beat off that far side. And again, just a tough clearance. I mean, the clearances have been...
Oh, and it's picked off by Scott. Scott's got a defender in between him, and that one wrapped around from behind. And they're going to say that was a clean strip. Scott was able to pick it off and had a brilliant opportunity. Now Highland Park again still looking to grab it with numbers. And it is going to stay in the attacking zone here for HP.
George Wright working with it. I think they're going to get Gent back on here on offense. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and make a couple of subs on the fly.
Underneath 3 to play here in the third quarter. Now a 2-goal lead for Georgetown, 5-3. Oh, a long windup right in the middle, and it's going to go straight into the chest of Nathan Truitt. Good chance there for Charlie Fielder, his first shot on goal today.
Okay, and at some point right now for Highland Park, just let it rip. Yeah, they don't have a ton of shots on goal, and they haven't tested Truitt a whole lot in this third quarter. That was one there where you get a rebound shot right in front. If you have a body in front of the net, who knows what could happen.
Gent came from behind, knocked it out of the stick of Heflin. Once it was put onto the carpet, it trickled all the way out on the inline. They're going to keep it with Georgetown. Both Gallus and a couple other white jerseys on that far side had a chance to get it before it went out on the inline, but neither was able to come down with it. Georgetown with a 2-goal lead, nearing that 2-minute mark here in the third. Heflin, far side, still looking for his first goal.
Pass.
Tried to get an assist there as he goes just off into the left. That was Cole Petter. Both of the Petter brothers have been great.
And Petter works right back to him, and you can tell, they got a good feel for each other. And Petter had a wide open opening inside, sucked in 3 Highland Park defenders.
Petter setting things up on the near hash, looking to go to the right-hand side. He will. Able to squeeze around Sam Wheeler. Now gives it to Heflin, and Heflin goes underneath. His first goal of the day, and now it's a 6-3 Highland Park trailing right now here at Highlander Stadium. That's now 5 unanswered goals by Georgetown as they double up the Scotties here on the road.
Yeah, that was one. He just wound up, ripped it low, just trickled it right down the carpet and past Spencer Hopkins there. 6-3. I mean, really impressive showing here in this third quarter by the Georgetown Eagles, and it's just been a lack of offense. The clearing ability hasn't been there for this Highland Park squad. They're learning as they go.
Well, they're going to have to learn a little bit quicker here in the second half if they're going to come back from this one. Now down by a 3 spot at home. Once again, this is a good Georgetown team. Won 19 games a year ago.
They remind me a lot of that Rockwall team from 2 years ago that knocked Highland Park out of the playoffs in the opening round.
That Rockwall team ended up winning.
They did.
Championship.
They did. Look at that. And now you're playing with a lot of confidence, right? You go ahead, you score, 4 unanswered now? And now you're just having fun out there and letting it rip.
If you go all the way back to when the Scotties led 3-1, it's 6 unanswered.
6 unanswered. Oh, wow. How about that?
They have been very impressive. Now it's a 4-goal Georgetown advantage. The thing is, make it take it right now with Nicholas English, and they are going to put Christian Reeves back in the face-off X.
We'll see what Reeves does. I mean, is he going to try and mano a mano? Do you try and shuffle this off to the side, allow your wings to come in and help you.
Highland Park had the momentum, had the advantage early, but since then it's been all Eagles. It's just been really no luck on offense. Look at that pass, able to get it to Reeves. Reeves now being just
tied up,
pestered from both sides, and they are going to call a flag, and rightly so. Reeves is going to have a man up, and he was calling for it immediately.
Well, he wanted to just kind of slip the back there, and he had a lot of green to work with. You know, Christian Reeves, man, he's got some speed. He could have created quite the play. So now a man-up advantage in only the second time all game that Highland Park's had this. They scored on the first one.
Yep.
Can they take advantage here?
Combined, both teams 2 for 2 with a man advantage. It took only 14 seconds the first time for Highland Park to put one in the back of the net. But now under a minute to play, half of that time, they're going to have a man up. Scots really need a goal here. They're going to wind up. That one goes off into the right. Kashana had a good look at it. 49.5 left and 18 seconds remaining in the penalty for Nicholas English. Stacked up in the box. Clock starts again. Highland Park still with possession. Kashana thought about it. Instead, gives it to Gent. Gent around. Now Tannenbaum with it. Miscommunication in the middle. 3 seconds left on the man up. Gent decides to pull it back and not make the shot. Now English coming back in. Even strength now, and he's going to actually make... No, he didn't make the interception. Gent by himself. He's going to be pushed from behind right in the middle of the slot. It's popped up in the air. Nobody in between. Flag will fly. 15 seconds left. That one right in the middle for Kashada, and he misplayed it. Just off the end of the stick and harmlessly away. Another flag's going to fly, and the whistle will blow with 5.8 seconds left in the third quarter.
A lot going on there. With 5.8 to go, we'll see what ends up happening with this flag. And they're going to call a hold.
Nicholas Petter makes his way to the penalty box far side. 5.8 left on the clock. 7-3, Georgetown with the advantage here in the third quarter.
Well, Scotty's will have a chance at one quick shot, and then this won't carry on over into the fourth.
Yeah. Best case scenario now here for Georgetown. Actually, Kashada also in the penalty box. Here's Gent from way out. And that shot goes wide, and the clock runs all the way down. I think they're going to put maybe a second left up on the clock. A little confusion here for the officials. I think they might want to put another second left up on here.
Yeah, they're
discussing it. And now they're calling in another official.
Yeah, I think you're right, Kyle. I think they are going to go ahead and put off another second.
Kind of trickled off a little bit early. If you're Highland Park, a second is enough to get off a good pass and to let it go.
Right,
oh, nope, they did. They wrapped the quarter. So at the end of 3, Highland Park, who led this game at 1.3-1, finds themselves down 7-3 as we head into the final stanza of this one. And into the fourth quarter they go, and the defending state champions on the ropes right now on their home turf as Georgetown travels up from the Central District and just kind of put it on them. 6 unanswered if you go back to the first quarter, and the Scots have just not had an answer really on the offensive end. The defense has been stout, and at some point the goals are going to start going through if you're Georgetown with the amount of good looks that they've had. But Highland Park on the offensive end has just not had a whole lot of rhythm there in that the first 3 quarters.
No, they have really struggled on the offensive side of things, and I think that's, you've had a couple of scrimmages for guys to get used to each other, and Highland Park they were successful. I mean, they scored at least 9 goals or more in all 4 of those scrimmages, and to come out here and be held to just 3 points so far in this one, I think a lot of credit needs to be given to that Eagles defense. I mean, they've been outstanding. They've also lost the majority of the battles inside the X so far. I think, when you look at what Nicholas English has been able to do at the Fogo spot, for Georgetown. He's absolutely dominated, whether it's been Quixada or Reeves inside. So that's an area of improvement needed for Highland Park. But this is a big fourth quarter. You know, the one thing about Scotty Lacrosse is these kids don't quit. And we'll see what they come out in these last 12 minutes. I know that they're going to give it all they can here to try and rally. And a 4-goal deficit, of course, is not insurmountable by any means.
The thing with this being such a challenging opening game to the 2019 season is there are two ways that this could go for Highland Park. This is one, a furious comeback that ends up at least giving you not only momentum, but how about confidence against a very good Georgetown team heading into the rest of your schedule. Or it's a wake-up call, once again, to a very good Georgetown team. You realize, hey, you're not there yet. It's not going to affect you from a district standpoint. It's not going to affect you from a THSLL playoff spot. But it is going to kind of dictate the way that practices, the way that games will go over the next couple of weeks. It's the way that non-district will continue to go. But if you're Highland Park, you've got to either man up here and make a miraculous comeback and at least make this a game, give you some confidence going into next week, and then if that doesn't happen, then you've got a wake-up call, something to turn back around. But nonetheless, we've got 12 minutes back up on the clock, and both teams with a man in the penalty box to start the fourth quarter. Kyle Yeomans alongside Zach Wolchuk here for Game On Sports, coverage of Highland Park lacrosse. Highland Park Gold trailing 7-4 or 7-3 at the start of the fourth quarter. Nicholas English with the win on the face-off, and Georgetown automatically looking to add to their 4-goal lead. This one goes over the stick of Heflin. Oh, look at Mason Gallus all the way into the corner, forcing Georgetown to really earn every yard as they look to go toward the crease. Good move, splitting a couple defenders. I don't know how he got in there. What a goal by Jackson Rowe.
Dude, he's got 2 highlight reel finishes here. Just taking on the interior of the Highland Park defense. And right over the top. Unbelievable job by Jackson Rowe there. Holy moly, what a show of force.
That was as physical of a goal as you could have asked for. Talked about taking on the interior of that Highland Park defense. I guess I could go farther and say the entire Highland Park defense.
I mean, they all got sucked in there.
Man.
And he just went right over the top, finished that high to low.
And Quixada, who was in the face-off X earlier in the game, or I guess that last time out, has now been replaced by Christian Reeves, who had some success in that first quarter. 11-27, now an 8-3 Georgetown lead. And another big win here for English. He's going to go right up the gut, has some green to work with, spins it back, and that one goes off the posts near side, and it clanks all the way underneath that Highland Park bench, and it's going to stay with Georgetown. Good shot there by Heflin, but it did.
That one drilled right off that far right post.
Chip some paint. That was a rocket. That one right in the middle as well. Goes off into the left. Cole Petter with a good shot from the near side. Kind of a sharp angle, but it does go just off into the left.
Both penalties are up, so we're back at even strength.
Highland Park needs a couple goals here to try and get the ball rolling, but it's hard to do that one when you have just been dominated by Nathan English, or Nicholas English rather, in the face-off X. And how about this? Is that Rowe again? Crease dive, and he puts it home. No, they're going to call it off.
Wave it off. Wow.
Oh. Tried with the crease dive, but he went a little bit too far, and the violation called, wipes it off, and Highland Park's going to have possession. He's trying to get number 2, number 3, number 4 on.
Yeah, that would have been the Hattie right there.
Wow. He's not just scoring, he's just putting up a highlight reel.
Yeah, he's been great. And that'll go called a deflection.
Yeah, they're going to keep it with Highland Park. 10:20 left.
Starting to get into desperation mode now. I mean,
absolutely.
Park, you got to stop the bleeding here. You need just some sign of offensive life. whether it's a player in ISO like Jackson Rowe's been doing for Georgetown, just go make a play, delayed penalty coming up.
I think that's the man you need. Right there is Janton. Good save right in the middle by Truitt. It's picked up and put in. Oh, wow, what a goal. Jason Tannenbaum from straight away picked it up and in one motion was able to snap that one back behind Truitt. You know, they were patting the helmet of George Wright. I thought Tannenbaum was the one that got it off. And I'm not sure. Now I'm looking at that far sideline, and I'm second-guessing myself. That might have been George Wright. I thought I saw 12 come out of that pile with it. He was right in the thick of things. But with 10:05 left, there's that goal.
I think it might have been a right there that made that one happen. But either way, you had the delayed penalty. Ripped from Finn Jen. That's what I'm saying here is these rebound opportunities. They seem like there's some loose balls out in front. And right there, alert to go ahead and pick it up off the miss by Jen just to finish up the trash in front of the net.
And look, a little bit of a face-off win. How about the momentum now swinging?
Inside the X.
Here's Tannenbaum. Trying to get clarification.
Oh, there's your turnover.
Another great play by Nicholas Petter. He's going to go all the way past midfield, switching direction. Gives it to Nicholas English. You got the English brothers and the Petter brothers who have just been as good as can be for Georgetown here in this second and third quarter, now into the fourth. 9:20 remaining in this one. Gent on defense, smothering English, and he'll have to dump it back behind. Long poke check there from Aiden Cox. Cradling with the left hand. Now goal line extended. Trying to break back toward the front of the crease. Instead, there's Rowe, and that shot goes off into the right. Tried to go underneath Spencer Hopkins.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple goals already with those quick underneath shots from Georgetown. But right now, I mean, HP, boy, could they use a turnover here, try and flip the numbers back the other way.
Oh, change in field. Rowe by himself, and that one also hit post.
Yeah, it was a nice pass again. Like you said, just cross field. Right now, the vision for Georgetown and the way that they're kind of spreading this ball around. I mean, the execution's really starting to pick up. The pace is getting faster and faster.
Rowe, since entering the game, that second quarter has been about as good as anybody else in the field. That one, Hopkins is able to get a body on it. It's flicked up right back in the middle of the slot. Heflin had a chance to pick it up, and instead it's still on the turf, far side, almost out of play, and finally it's going to be picked up by the Eagles. The exchanges have just been there. Nice poke check out of the air there for Highland Park, and a big hit from Rowe near side. And it jars it loose. Whistles blow. There's a penalty flag on the far side. And I think Georgetown. No, I think it's going to be Highland Park. That's going to be a man down as they're going to send Holmes. Yeah.
Cross check.
So now this pressure, the heat turned up on that Scotty defense. They need a stop and a score. And they've got to do it with a man down here for the next 60 seconds. 7:49 left in the fourth. Time not on the Scots side. Trailing 8-4. That one right in the middle. Heflin tried to get it to Rowe outside the crease. And because of the pass, it's going to go to Highland Park off that inline. Spencer Harper will bring it in here for the Scots as they look for a clearance. Good chance to kill clock with the penalty, but you also still have to have the aggressiveness to try and go score here. There's a wide open man. How about this? George Wright trying to go right in the middle, feeds it near side, trying to go underneath.
It's a good look there for Scott.
Whistle's blowing. I think there might be a timeout called here. Not sure by which one. But either way, the Scots will have possession, down a man, but down by 4 goals is the more important stat right now. Had a golden opportunity to have a shorthanded goal if that one would have gone in from Will Scott, like you said. A great look at it from that far hash mark.
No, he really did. I mean, over on that far side coming in for Scott, a nice job there. Just couldn't quite get it on net, a little bit wide. And now with 7:24, 36 seconds left on the man up. I mean, this is critical for Highland Park to come out of this timeout. You've got to be able to score with this man up advantage.
7:24 left. They scored 3 goals within the first probably 7 minutes of that first quarter, and that's about as effective as they've been all game long. Since then, they've only put up the 1 goal, and that was earlier here in this fourth quarter. Almost a desperation heave from George Wright to make it an 8-4 game. But now you've got possession. Now you're talking things over with Coach Ross Thompson on the far sideline, and if you can potentially get a goal here shorthanded and maybe get another face-off win, you're just a couple good shots away from being right back in the thick of things, but you've got to do it quickly. That's the biggest thing, time and efficiency. You know, in the next couple of moments here for this Highland Park squad. Season opener here in 2019, taking on a very good Georgetown squad. This Georgetown team with a lot of expectations for the 2019 season. So HP looking to set things up from an attack. Gent has it, and he's going to have it coming off that in line. Only 5 white jerseys on the attacking side for Highland Park thanks to the penalty. Go all the way near sideline before resetting right at the 40. Killing some of the clock left in that penalty. Here's Gent, one-on-one. Swing move, and he lost his footing. Picking it back up now, though. Jacob Roberts, the defend.
Yeah, I mean, he's just doing a great job of mirroring him right now. Just right in front, wasn't fooled by any of Gent's moves. Kashada's going to come on in.
Back to even strength. Here's Kashada now. A little bit of a stutter step back to Gent. Gent, long wind up, and that one finds its way inside the near post. How about that snipe off balance from the right-hand side, and talk about a momentum swinging type of goal, and that's what Jake Gent just delivered.
Was that 17, 18 yards out?
Wow.
For Jake Gent, my oh my. What a rip to bury in that far left corner.
Lightning in a bottle here for Highland Park, and well, now you need a big face-off.
Yeah, a couple of quickies, and Reeves, who won the last one.
Unable to win this one, at least initially. It is going to be picked up by English. English now on the run, and he goes 5-hole right underneath Hopkins.
Now there's 3. There's the hat trick for Nicholas English, who's been absolutely outstanding for Georgetown today.
Hopkins was looking at the official, thought there might have been some interference, was not happy with the no call, but the official came over and gave the good signal. 6.5 minutes left, and in a blink of an eye, English wins the Fogo, or wins the X, and then gets the score. They're going to put Kashada back at the X to try and counteract that. Don't want to call it the dagger just yet, but it very well could have been, depending on what Highland Park can do here in the next couple of moments. All the way back to the 30, and they're going to call Georgetown. No, they're going to call Highland Park on a violation. There's a lot of confusion. Highland Park fans, of course, Highland Park faithful think that they should have possession, and they're going to give it to Georgetown. Just depends on who was over the line first. 6:10 left here in the fourth quarter.
This little flip back there. Good job by Highland Park to rotate, stay with that.
Heflin trying to feed a teammate in the middle. Good play there by Gallus. Halfway through the fourth quarter. Header right in the middle, poked away by Hopkins, and now Highland Park needs to make a couple clearances. Long pass, almost picked off by Heflin, but instead it'll be picked up by Holmes. Holmes taken down from behind, but now Highland Park's got a couple numbers. Flags will fly. Highland Park waiting for the penalty, but they got a shot.
Well, they're going to
score here.
Delayed now on Georgetown, so they'll have an opportunity.
How about this one? Gent, left hand, and he puts it home. The Hattie for Jake Gent.
How about that? All three coming off that right side. This one a little bit, maybe the closest of the 3 goals. With momentum, comes in off that right side. I mean, just a brilliant job by Jake Gent. Twice captain. Learned a thing or two from his older brother.
Absolutely. That one with the left hand on the finish. Still from that right side, like you mentioned, but he decided to go the left hand. 5:17 left on the clock. Back to a 3-goal game. Highland Park's going to go to Kashada at the face-off X, while Georgetown will send big number 18, Nathan English.
It's been quite the offensive explosion here, though, in the last few minutes for Highland Park.
Both teams scoring effectively here in the second half. Good push initially from English, and he's going to knock it away from Kashada, still being shadowed by a couple Highland Park defensemen. Underneath 5 to play, and Georgetown now looking to kill some clock and put this one on ice on the road. Oh, good play from behind.
That's their scoop. Right, here you go.
They're going to blow whistles. Kevin Hayes was able to knock it away, and a flag flies late on the far side.
Yeah, and the Highland Park fans don't like it. That was an opportunity there. They needed that. You could tell they picked up the aggressiveness on the defensive side, knowing they needed a turnover, flip it back the other way. 4:41 and counting. And now the man up for Georgetown.
33, tripping, 1 minute.
And tripping called on Gallus, and that would have been the golden chance for Highland Park, especially with a man up. Try and go the other way and make it a 2-goal game. If you're Highland Park, you're thinking if you can get it within 2 with around 2.5, 3 minutes to play, I think you maybe take a chance there.
You know, Nathan English, who's over there with about 10 seconds left on a knee as well. So right now, just some 4-on-4 action. There'll be about a 35-second differential for Georgetown to work with the advantage.
So there is the even strength. Be about 30 seconds total once, like you said, English works his way completely back into play. And Sal, I don't know if they're interested in really taking advantage here. Now they're turning up the heat, and the shot goes off into the left. Underneath 4 to play, 18 seconds remaining in Gallus's penalty. So he's on a knee in that penalty box far side. Defense from Highland Park doing a nice job rotating. That pass mishandled initially. Highland Park looking to take advantage and knocked off of a Highland Park player and out of play on the near side, but back to even strength they go. Gent works his way into the defensive side. Nearing that 3.5-minute mark. Georgetown taking their time, leading 9-6. Petter, far side, gives it to Heflin. Heflin right in the middle of the hash marks, now working with the right side. Puts a spin move. That one out of the left hand goes high up above the crossbar.
Stays with Georgetown. Back to even strength. 3:16 to go here in the fourth. 3 goals Highland Park needs to make up.
Scotty's going to need one quickly here. Good step there from Heflin. Heflin swings that. Oh, no, I take it back. That was Spencer Rowe again. Third goal for Spencer Rowe. He had one earlier taken away, but it's now an official Hattie for Rowe as that one goes upper 90. And I wouldn't say this, but now double digits here for Georgetown, and that one very well could be the dagger for Highland Park here in the season opener.
Really needed to stop. You know, they just really needed that one turnover. They thought they had it. They got called for the penalty, and now 4 goals down with 3:08 to go. Certainly an uphill battle, but you never know what can happen. But you got to win inside the X, and right now the advantage has clearly been Houts with the win there, and with Georgetown. Excuse me, it was not. It was still English. And English again tries to take it, make it take it, boom, right away, get a quick win inside the X, get upfield. He's got 1 goal off of that, almost had a second.
He's been everywhere. 3 goals already in the game, and he's been almost unbeatable in the faceoff X. Got to give a credit to Georgetown, the way that they kind of handled the pressure late in this game. Still got their foot on the gas pedal as that one sneaks in. Heflin with his 3rd.
It's a cheeky one, that Heflin.
That's the 3rd player from the Georgetown roster to have a hat trick today. And it makes it an 11-6 game, but every time Highland Park has answered the bell and at least turned on the heat a little bit. Talk about returning the favor, and that's Georgetown. The way that they've been able to really stave off a Highland Park comeback. 3 goals in the first for Highland Park, 3 in the 4th, but Georgetown really hasn't given up any of that momentum
throughout. They certainly have had a response, and it's been a hat trick party over there for the Eagles. You look at Heflin, English, and Rowe, each with 3.
You got Petter with 2.
Petter with 2. A shot a win there.
And new Fogo in there for Georgetown. It was
just
Matthew
a quick turnover. I mean, you get the win inside the X, and then you give it right back.
Lots of things to work on for Highland Park before they return to action.
It matters when you get into the inside your own district. Those are the games that you can't afford to drop, and they're playing against a Georgetown team that, you know, they're certainly going to make a run. They had an outstanding year last year. They should be back in the playoffs this year. I think they've got to be one of the top contenders for this D2 crown.
Well, that's one of the biggest things is now you look at Georgetown and the way that they've handled Highland Park as the defending state champions. And there's another one. That one goes right upper 90 for Rowe.
Top cheddar off that left shoulder or the right shoulder of Spencer Hopkins. 4th goal of the afternoon.
Georgetown now doubling up Highland Park 12-6. But back to what I was talking about in terms of Highland Park and the way that Georgetown and the way that they've handled Highland Park here. You think that the THSLL right now looking at Georgetown is maybe not the favorite, but definitely, like you said, a strong contender to try and at least make it to the Final Four and see what you can do from a state championship standpoint at the D2 level.
And, you know, of course, for Highland Park, you know, and they see trying to make a run here. You got a lot of green grass, but just unable to get it from home. See, this is a team, they've got a bright future, a lot of potential.
Absolutely.
Late penalty coming up. You know, these are guys, you had a lot of call-ups from D2 up to D1 this year. These kids are learning how to play with one another. You know, this is a team that will improve as the season goes along, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the first of a pair of meetings we see between Highland Park and Georgetown.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see these two play again. Another good save by Truitt off of the shot straight away from Jackson Holmes. 1:15 left in the 4th. Penalty now served by Georgetown as Evan Engel will make his way to the Georgetown penalty box. But you also remember last year, Highland Park, one of their first losses, one of their only losses, I should say. They went 15-2. One of their only losses of the year came against Prosper at home. And you turn around, you see them again, and Highland Park got the last laugh there, so it's definitely unheard of. You look at the Woodlands, their one loss on the season came to Highland Park, and they got revenge in the playoffs as well. It happens time in and time out. This Georgetown team, the expectations are going to skyrocket after a win like this. How dominant they've been on the road at such a tough place to play. And the best thing is, if you're Georgetown, you get to ride this momentum tomorrow and take on Prosper.
Yeah, they've been great in all three areas. You see, Highland Park, it seemed like they were going to have some momentum there. Rowe picks it back up, good clearance. I mean, the clearances have been great for Georgetown. That's certainly an area that they've improved upon and over Highland Park in this one. A couple of quick whistles there, but I mean, what a matchup tomorrow. You got Cole Schmidt, who's back for Prosper. The Prosper Eagles, a team like you said, all year long they looked like they were just cruising to the title game, and then they meet Highland Park. The Scots played great that afternoon in Round Rock, and now here today with how good this Georgetown squad's looked, that's going to be a very exciting game. If they can come here on the road, clean sweep Highland Park and Prosper, man, the sky is the limit for Georgetown.
Yeah, how do you want to put everyone in Texas on high alert? And that's how you do it, is defeating both teams from the championship game a year ago, and not only beating Highland Park on the road, but the way that they've played today with 37 seconds remaining, and they lead at 12-6. Pretty impressive showing.
No doubt. And I'll say, look, I mean, we've talked about it already. It's a very different Highland Park D2 team to the one that won the state championship. But that Prosper squad is pretty much back and intact. The majority of their big goal scorers, headlined by Cole Schmidt, are back. So tomorrow, I mean, that could be a game with a lot of fireworks. And for the Scotties, they're back in action next Friday, a road trip to Bridge to take on Bridge Lacrosse.
Lots of growth for this Highland Park squad to come. A very exciting season. Anytime you're the champion until you're knocked off. They'll get knocked off today, but you've still got a chance to defend that title. Like we talked about, doesn't affect you from a playoff standpoint. Now you got to put this one behind you. There's another goal. Chance in front.
Tannenbaum had a good shot. That was beautiful. Quickly up ahead. They got the numbers, had an opportunity there to get a feel-good goal. They've still got a shot.
That one goes just over the head of the Highland Park offense. Past midfield out on the far side. Underneath 5 seconds to play. One more chance here for Georgetown to maybe add a goal, and that is not going to be the case. The clock will hit 0, and a big-time win to start the 2019 season for the Georgetown Eagles. Highland Park falls at home, 12-6, the final score in the season opener. And lots of great saves early on from Spencer Hopkins. Saw good play from Jake Gent, who ended up with a hat trick for Highland Park. Couple goals, one from George Wright, one from Tannenbaum, one from Hegema, and that's really all she wrote for Highland Park. Lots of improvement to come here for Coach Ross Thompson and company, but definitely a lot to build on and a foundation laid here for 2019.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you saw some glimmers of positives, but a lot to work on without question for Highland Park. But a tip of the cap to Georgetown coming in here playing an outstanding game, and they'll look to carry that momentum, like we've said, to tomorrow's contest at Prosper. But for Highland Park, Jake Gent, incredible. I think questions answered about Spencer Hopkins. Can he step in and fill a void that major power left? He absolutely can. And they'll look ahead to improve and get back in that win column against Bridge next Friday.
Absolutely. And like you said, that game next Friday will get started at 7:30. Then they'll turn around on that Wednesday, another 7:30 start time on the road at Fort Worth Lacrosse before returning to district action against Prestonwood, and then a non-district matchup down in Austin against Westlake, where, like we talked about earlier, Georgetown will take on Prosper tomorrow at noon. And the state runner-up from a year ago before taking on Rouse on the road. That one at 7 on Wednesday before they start getting into the heat of their district play. Do want to thank everybody involved in this Game On Sports production. For my boy Cookie running camera and audio, and then for our producer / owner / overarching everything, Fred Garner. For my partner, Zach Wolchuk, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Once again, the final score here from Highlanders Stadium, Georgetown 12, Highland Park 6, to open the 2019 season. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.